listening to the Talking Shrimpers podcast, sponsored by Surgical Holdings.
Welcome to TSP. I'm your host, Sensei Phil. With me this week is Charlie, Finn and Katie. Not going to ask how everyone's been. We all know it's been a rubbish week. Weather's been crap, but football's been great. So we'll crack straight on with that. Altrincham at home, 3-0 win. We will start with Daz to tell us how the referee got on.
The ref was a total clueless anchor.
Yeah, totally agree with that. We'll come back to the ref later on. Let's start with Ollie Coker. Great finish, man of the match performance. Obviously, our podcast name on the announcement, which is great. Finn, quite a performance from him on Saturday.
Yeah, absolutely. I've said this before about Ollie Coker, but I think he's just one of those players that's always on the ball. Works so hard in that midfield, and he's a really crucial player, and probably a player that I've kind of like not changed my mind, because I've always known he's a quality player. But I think particularly in recent weeks, recent months, I've really kind of understood the quality that he brings to the club, I think. And he's so good in that midfield. Probably one of the first midfielders I'd have in there at the moment.
Charlie, to me, he looked like he was well up for it right from the off. I mean, he covered so much grass on Saturday. What did you make of his performance?
Yeah, I thought it was a really accomplished performance, to be fair. I mean, everybody, I think, had a really good game on Saturday, and we'll probably go into that a little bit later on. But to talk about Ollie himself, I think we've all seen flashes of him last season, of the quality he poses. I guess the nature of the depth of squad that we've got this season, he probably hasn't found himself in that starting lineup as regularly as he wanted. But I mean, on Saturday, you could see he was well up for it. And from the word go, we was on the front foot. And it was good to see him on the score sheet as well, because we know the quality of the finishing that he has. And you saw that again Saturday with the volley. And every time he's on that ball, he gets around that edge of the box, and you can see he's always looking to get a shot away. And 9 out of 10, they're working the keeper, they're on target. He does get some real good chances away. And we saw plenty of that on Saturday from him.
Yeah, and I thought that the team were excellent throughout. Goal 2, another good strike from Ralphie. I think keeper, watching it back, probably could have done better with that. But still, great connection from Ralphie. Great performance for him as well. And like you say, could have been a few. I thought Cav Miley had an excellent game as well. Some really good performances.
Yeah, I mean, on Cav, I thought that was one of his best games. I think we're starting to see a bit of Cav of old now. He was really breaking up play, getting involved, and sort of stopping their chances and sort of turning the ball over quickly, which I think gave sort of Cokes and that sort of freedom to sort of go forward a bit more, and create that space up ahead. But yeah, I mean, Ralph obviously took his goal, and it's nice to. I mean, we hear it a lot, don't you? It's the backwards, sideways passing and that. But ultimately, all the time we've got the ball, and it's a bit of a cliche. They haven't got the ball, and sometimes you do have to go backwards just to rebuild things and to get those pockets of spaces to open up. But on this occasion, a couple of shots, from the outside of the box, and it just shows you can go through a few different players and stuff. The keeper, I don't know if he was unsighted or haven't seen it clearly enough to see what it. If he should have done any better. But ultimately, if you don't shoot, you don't score.
Yeah. Joe Gubbins as well. You've mentioned him before, Finn. He's not played a lot. I mean, when he came in early season, thought he was playing really, really well. Obviously, he was unlucky to be dropped with Ralphie coming back. That was always going to happen. But yeah, I thought he was excellent on Saturday as well in that centre-back central role position.
Yeah, absolutely. He's a player that I said before about, and I really rate it. I think he's a quality player. I think I don't know if I'd like to see him get a bit more forward in more of a defensive midfield position. I don't know how people think about that, but I've said it before. But I really rate him, and I think centre back, centre defensive midfielder, wherever. I think he's a really valuable player for the team.
Now, 2-0 up. We got ourselves a pen. Very poorly taken, I've got to say, from Gus. But it was an interesting one because, a few people said he took the ball from Dallas. I actually thought at the time it was Boys, and I've looked back on the video and he took it from Boys. Boys didn't look too happy about it. So I don't know if, normally you have your penalty taker is arranged pre-game. So I don't know if it was a case of Boys thought, well, I haven't had a goal this season. I fancy this. or whether Gus has said, actually, no, I'm down the penalty taker. All I do know is Kev went down the tunnel when the penalty was given. He reappeared just in time to see the miss. I was absolutely fuming. Now, I can't use the exact words he said, but I don't know if he said the pen was a number 2 or he'd been for a number 2. I'm not too sure. But certainly it wasn't a great pen from Gus. Charlie?
No, I mean, I'm not going to go on. I mean, it's one of those, isn't it? I think we're 2-0 up, we miss it. We're fortunate we're 2-0 up, and it didn't really change the tie at all. But I mean, ultimately, Gus has scored our penalties. He's taken penalties before and been very successful. I mean, normally, I guess Jack Bridges normally our number one sort of penalty taker, obviously, but he's not on the pitch.
Gus
so
missed a couple pre-season, didn't he?
Yeah, so there's obviously a couple in pre-season he's missed, but ultimately he's obviously taken the ball. He's felt confident to grab that ball and say, I want it. And for me, I'm not too. I mean, yeah, it did lack some conviction, but I would soon have players up there that are wanting to take that ball and take the penalties. Now, in hindsight, let Boys take it, let Dallas, Slavy. There's numerous players that could have taken the penalty. But, the form that Gus is in and stuff, he's more than capable of scoring. So, if he wants to take it, then by all means let him. I don't think there'll be too much discussion and just around, who's our penalty takers and why wasn't it discussed before the game and that. I think it's one of those on the moment. If whoever's confident enough, yeah, off you go.
Do you know who I would have picked?
Young
Will. Always hit the target, that boy, didn't he? Our crossbar challenge. We needed him back.
I tell
he
you,
would have
no
hit the
one's
target.
come close since him. I'll tell you,
Call
the two
him
that
back.
were on the two that were on at half time this Saturday were blooming woeful.
Yeah.
I think the bill. I think it's going to be about £1,000 to spend in this Indian by the end of the season.
Yeah. If you're free, Will, get back. We need you. But yeah, no. I always think if it's decided pre-game, it should stay like that. But yeah, we don't know who it was. But yeah, as you say, ultimately didn't affect the outcome. Goal 3, Josh off the bench. Katie, he's a bit of a super sub for us, isn't he? We keep saying it, and he's done it again. He come off the bench, and he's always got that goal in him.
Yeah, I think it probably goes for a lot of the subs as well. He makes a lot of last-minute substitutions, and they seem to be paying off this season. So I guess at the end of the day, if they go in, whatever time they go in, it doesn't really matter as long as we're scoring. But no, yeah, it's nice to have options on the bench that can change games and stand up in big moments and make the difference.
It's funny for Josh because, when he starts, I'm not saying he doesn't contribute. He does. He runs a lot and takes into the channels and, makes those diversions. He does give, but he doesn't seem to score when he starts. But just when he starts as a sub, there's always that goal with him. I think that's 7 now from the bench. Finn, not a bad record, is it, to have?
No, it's not a bad record at all. And I think it's good to have a striker like that, where he maybe won't start games, but you need somebody to bring off the bench to liven up the attack sometimes. Even if you have your 2 strongest strikers starting, sometimes you just need those fresh legs to come off the bench. So if you have someone who comes off the bench and can get a goal, then that's ideal, really. And I think it's good to probably have like 2 strikers who are your starting ones, and then 1 or 2 who can come off the bench. I think it's perfect, really.
Now, going back to the referee, don't like to go on about ref performances because we have to put up with it most weeks. But I thought he was particularly poor. Thankfully, our finishing was good. Other games it could have cost us. But I thought he was very poor Saturday. But we certainly should have had, I don't know if you saw it, Charlie, we definitely should have had a corner, which I think Dallas led to his booking. They also should have had 2. 1 for sure came off of Ralphie. It was so clear cut. But I don't know what the officials were watching. Yeah, it was a poor performance from them, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be totally honest. I wasn't too aware of too many decisions he got wrong. I know the one you talk about with Dallas, as I say, because Dallas actually ended up getting booked because of his frustration, because it should have been a corner, and ultimately because of the referee's mistake, it led to Dallas getting booked, which that's very, very annoying. But I think. Throughout the season we've had some absolute woeful refereeing, and it's just become the norm. And I guess maybe now when I'm watching the game, it's just one of those things that happens. You expect these referees to get simple decisions like that wrong or make absolute shockers. But I think it's important not to take that away from the actual games. I thought the game itself, I thought we dominated from the word go. I thought we were on the front foot, got a nice early goal, and we just looked in control throughout the entire game.
Yeah, we did.
Altrincham, I think they might have had one free kick in the second half that Hayes got down to. Other than that, I don't remember any other clear sort of chances. And yeah, we just looked like we were, just really in control. Everybody was at the races. And yeah, I mean, aside from maybe a poor couple of refereeing decisions, I don't think, we should let that sort of take away from actually what a good performance it was from us.
Yeah, it was. Now, one he couldn't possibly get wrong was the red card. Totally deserved from Dan Sassy. Totally tried to take out Boise. I spoke to Boise afterwards. He said, yeah, he tried. He really tried. Thankfully, Boise just got on with it. But if he'd have caught him, he wouldn't have been happy. The guy just tried to clatter him. Obviously, Boise evaded him and ref saw it. Down the tunnel you go, mate. But there was their antics really wound me up, actually, Altrincham. I don't know if you heard it. There was a couple of times where we hardly touched them and then they're rolling around screaming at the top of their voices. We talked about it the other week, things you don't like in football. And I hate this current trend of players absolutely screaming when they're being touched. Yeah. I mean, it was embarrassing.
Yeah. So yeah, no, for me, yeah, it's the whole where they just sort of lift their legs away and make out they've been absolutely poleaxed, and the scream that goes with it. I mean, there was an incident in the corner in the second half, and I can't remember if it was Boys, but one of their players coming and he's left the ground. I think it was only the fact that Boys jumped out the way, or it might have been Ralph. I can't remember that it stopped. There was no connection. But again, this is where I come back to sort of last week where we were a little bit maybe too honest for our own good, because I think if we had made a song and dance about that, I think that could have been a red card. But the guy, I don't even think it wasn't even a free kick. There was no booking, nothing. We sort of just jumped out the way, ran up the pitch, and it was play on. But had that connected, that could have been a real serious injury. But yeah, I understand completely. Like, it's just the screaming and the shouting. It's pathetic.
Yeah,
it's supposed to be fully grown men. Look at the athletes and stuff. And
Katie, do you get this on a Sunday?
Yeah, you do, to be fair.
Oh, really?
It's starting to creep in a little bit. Yeah, it's starting to creep in a little bit. I think it purely comes down to the quality of the refs. If you don't call it, you don't get it. So
yeah, true.
Yeah.
Well, I'm reffing tonight. They won't be getting any for sure. If they're really screaming, I'll send them off. Not having that. Don't like that at all. But yeah, not for me. No. I mean, to the credit of our players, you don't hear it. I might be wrong. I don't think I've ever heard it from our lads. Keep the time wasting as well. I don't think I've seen us do it too much. And surely that all comes down from the coach.
Yeah, I think it's funny you say that, because I think the only one that I can ever remember of our keeper ever going down was probably last game against Altrincham, where Hayes went down with I don't know what was wrong with him, but and I was just saying to my dad, like, come on, like, just
nothing.
I hate this. And if we talk about things we hate in football, I hate it when the keeper goes down. But in fairness to us, you are right. I don't think we often, well, from my view, I don't think we often really do stuff like that or get involved in the kind of cheating. It is what it really is side of things. So yeah, it just does my head in when you get players going down like that, and keepers with hamstrings. It's funny how it's always the keeper going down.
Yeah, I know.
With hamstring as well. It's funny that, isn't it? Because that's the only play you have to stop the game for properly if they go down with that sort of thing. So
I thought that wouldn't happen with us being 2-3 goals up, but it did. And sometimes I think it's just so they can get instructions to the players.
Yeah,
and it's clearly just cheating.
Yeah, I don't know how everyone feels about it, but in my opinion, if a player goes down and the game has to be stopped, the player shouldn't be able to just go over and get a drink and get some tactical advice from the manager. In my view, they should just stay where they are on the pitch until it's over. A bit like in boxing, if like or UFC, for example, where if there's an eye poke or something like that, you can't just go over to your corner, get a drink and have some advice. You have to stay away from them. So yeah,
it's true.
I think that's basically what it should be like in football.
That's what we get in jiu-jitsu. I've had a few eye pokes, and you do. And I've done it, not intentionally. Sometimes you catch someone in the eye, from a straight punch and stuff. But you have to just sit there and look at the wall. You're not allowed to go and get instruction from your coach or.
No.
It's good point.
It's funny you say that because it's something that I have regular conversations with someone I sit next to at football, and we always say like, "Well, just stop them going over to the touchline." And another thing I've suggested, and I would love to see this, but it will never happen. But it's quite simple. If one of the players gets treated, they have to come off for 30 seconds. Do the same for keepers. Just play no keeper, rush keeper. Like it will just be carnage for 30 seconds. It'll be amazing. I guarantee keepers won't be going down too often after that.
They wouldn't.
I think that would be amazing. Just that would be incredible.
If anything, I mean, you get. I think you get them holding their heads and stuff. I think they should fully implement that concussion law where they have to go off for 5 minutes, get fully assessed, and maybe you have like a sub keeper. Like the cricket, they have the guy comes on, the night watchman or whatever, where the keeper can come on until he's ready to go back. That would cut it out.
Nah, just nominate an outfield player.
You're just
They've
saying,
got to go and go before the game.
Goal. Who would you? All right, if it was us, right? Say it's Hazy. Who's going in goal?
Well, I mean, Gus has had a game, innit? Didn't Gus play in goal once for us? I mean, you'd actually want some. I reckon Goodliff could probably do a job in goal. I reckon Goodliff would do all right in goal.
I reckon Gubbins. I don't know why. I just feel like he's got a build for a goal.
You love Gubbins, don't you?
Yeah, well, yeah. he's my favourite.
That would be a great rule to implement. I'm not
being paid by him to say this, by the way. I'm not being paid by him.
I reckon you are. I reckon Slavy looks a good keeper. He's got a bit of a keeper on him. I'll go with Slavy. That'd be my choice. It wouldn't be Josh Walker, would it? It'd be taking the ball out up down the field, leaving the goal open like Rene Higuita. Oh, well, there you go. That's the end of the first half. Great result for us. Great for us. What we got coming up in the halftime show, we're going to talk to the ladies, look how the academy got on, and we're going to interview Anne Morris. So don't go away.
This is the halftime show in memory of John Gurrell.
Right, we will start with the ladies.
It's the Southend ladies with Emily and Katie.
No Emily tonight. So, Katie, you are solo. We're going to start off. Obviously, it was announced last week. Nick Sheldrick has been appointed team manager. He's got a wealth of experience in women's football. I guess he's not really had a lot of time with the team. But has he said how he intends to map out the immediate future in terms of playing style or changes with training?
I think, we've had one training session with him and then straight into a game on Sunday, so it was quite a quick turnaround. But I think it's very positive. He's brought in a positive energy. I think he just wants us to be more confident in the way we play. So we haven't necessarily set out a structure yet. I think he wants to find out who plays where and what best works for us really with the players we've got. But he's definitely just brought a wealth of confidence with him, and I think that will seep into us as players and hopefully prove ourselves on the pitch.
Yeah, and obviously played Brentwood away yesterday, 5-0 loss. Sack him, get him out. No, you got obviously, like you say, he's just come in fresh. He's only just met the players, needs to implement his philosophy. And, the good thing is there's no game this weekend, I believe. So he's got a good couple of weeks now to spend with the team, obviously getting to know you guys and, like you say, your positions and working on a few bits.
Yeah, definitely. I think, as you say, no game this week, so we can really get her honed down at training and work on what we want to work on for the game on the 7th. But I think it's obviously a big change for us as players. Like, we've gone from having these interim coaches that wanted us to play a certain way for a few weeks, and now we've got to completely change it again to the way he wants to play, which is not a bad thing. I think it is positive, but it's just going to take us a while to adapt.
Yeah, of course.
But no, yeah, I wasn't at the game yesterday because I've been away for the weekend. But I think there was some moments for us that we looked good. We looked well structured. They just had a very fast striker that
Yeah,
seemed
we
to
said that last
run
week, didn't we?
rampage.
I think she scored 4, didn't she?
Yeah, I used to play with her at St Clair's when I
Right.
was younger, and she's like a little terrier. She just runs and runs and runs, and she's super fast. But
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, maybe she's available next season.
Yeah, I'll have to send her a message.
Yeah, exactly. No tapping up. We better cut that out of the edit. But yeah, so yeah, say it gives Nick a good time to, get you guys together and work on some stuff. Okay, so next we have an interview with Match of the Dames founder Anne Morris. Have a listen to this. With me is Anne Morris, founder of Match of the Dames. So first of all, Anne, how did you first come into being interested in football? What's your story?
Well, thanks very much for having me, Phil. So basically, I'm not a lifelong football fan. I've been sort of around football for many, many years. I have 3 brothers, grew up in St Helens in the 80s. So it was kind of right for being, one fan of Everton and one who supported Man U, etc. So I was kind of in and around football, as a kid. But really, I mean, I'm married to a mad Liverpool fan and have a son who's the same, so they're all great. But never really shown that much of an interest until the last couple of years. So it's really 2 years ago. Myself and my husband were invited to become part of an investor group in our local club, which is Altrincham. And we wanted to do, inspired by, a lot of people are inspired by the whole Ryan Reynolds thing of supporting your local club. They are such heartlands of the community, which I now know, which I didn't really understand a couple of years ago. And basically, we got invited that way to start getting involved. And so I started going along to games. So having lived 25 years in an area, never really been through the door, I now had a reason to go, and then had a reason to kind of go and really, really love it.
Fantastic. So tell me, what is Match of the Dames? Do you want to explain to us what that is?
Okay, it's just a title, looking for a campaign to go along with it, really. But so really what the aim of the game is, when I did start going along and went for the first year and didn't really think that much about it, to be honest, but then in the second year of going, really realised that the number of ladies who are going to Altrincham in particular, now I know it's different at Southend, having just been yesterday, but going along to Altrincham, it was really clear that there is such a dearth of women who go. Not to say that we don't have some really loyal fans who are brilliant, but, there's not huge numbers. Yeah. So looking around, wanted to try and do something about that. So came up with this plan, and the idea is that it's all based around Altrincham, but 20 of Altrincham's games this season, so 10 home and 10 away, we would try and set it up so that we'd have 20 first-time female fans coming along as support to the men's game at each of those 20 games. So over the course of the season, 400 women would have been introduced to local football. Now, when we're in Altrincham, it's all Altrincham ladies, and so we're building community there. When we go to the away clubs, it's local ladies from those areas. So yesterday met with a wonderful group of Southend women and girls and one boy.
How did you bribe them to come and watch us?
Well, it's really interesting. I mean, you have a massive fan base. When you sort of walk into the stadium, it's quite different, the numbers that you get here compared to Altrincham. So, that in itself is amazing. But no, what makes the difference is knowing people locally who women will trust, that they're going to do something which is going to be all right. And I think that's the thing. Most people will go because someone's recommended it to them, that someone often has a link with the club or certainly with the area. And because that person says, come along to this, it sounds really good, people give it a chance. They will almost always come with somebody, not always, but they will normally come with a daughter, their mum, a friend from work, a friend, somebody from one of the groups they go to, and they'll kind of come with a buddy. But then you've got 20 people, so it's not usually big groups of people who know each other. You kind of get these pairs and threesomes or whatever that sort of come along, and everybody gets to know each other over a lunch or a bite to eat beforehand.
Brilliant.
And so we have these meetups beforehand. and then we go along to the ground all together and then enjoy the game together. And before you know it, you've come along with one person, you're suddenly in a group of 20, you all look the same, and you go off to the ground and have a real new experience.
And you've made all those connections as well, which is
exactly.
brilliant.
So it's really good.
Yeah. So where did the inspiration for this come from?
Well, as I say, it was just looking around our ground. I mean, when I was looking last year, and we were sort of initially involved as wanting to support financially, and the clubs, all local clubs, as far as I can see, need financial support. They need more gate money. They need more people coming through the gates. So it was really, how do you do that? And looking around, it was clear that there's a big audience that we're not appealing to at all in Altrincham. So to give my very sort of rough and very unscientific stat on this, there was a game in the summer when I was researching and just getting ready to sort of be asked these sorts of questions, and there was a game in the summer that I went to, and the gates for that game we came over the loudspeaker. It was about 1,200. And I went round, as I say, very unscientific, but counted up as many women and girls as I could see, and it numbered 88 going around the stand. So really, really not where we want to be at all. And that's a nice summer's day when, it's not like the weather's going to put you off or anything. It was a really nice day. And and I just think there's so much opportunity there to do better and to sort of be better about promoting what's great about going to local football, which I now see because I see the reaction of so many women, not just in Altrincham but all around the country. It's very similar reactions, which is largely around, it's much safer, it's much less aggressive than I ever thought it would be, it's much more accessible from that point of view, but also the experience of seeing football close up. Women look, the women that I've taken along, they've loved seeing footballers kind of almost close to touch on the pitch, and you can see the action really up close. That side of things I think people underestimate, and certainly when a goal goes in and the whole ground goes up around them, that energy and experience is really wonderful. So introducing more people to that, really.
I mean, it's true, sort of women going to football now is more norm than it was many, many years ago. I mean, I used to work at Wembley Stadium. I was deputy of the VIP. So I know sort of how many women were going then and how many now. And, one thing my wife always says, I mean, she doesn't go a lot, but when she does go, she says, it's always great because I don't have to queue for the toilets, which is quite unusual on the other way the men do, but really we want that to be a problem in the future, see more women. Obviously with the women doing very well in the Euros, twice now in this country, I think that's really promoted women's football, and the interest is slowly getting there, but there's so much more to do, isn't there?
Yeah, well, I think what's really surprised me, but really pleasantly surprised me, is the way that women who have heard about what I'm doing are keen to come because they've enjoyed watching the women's football. Their daughter plays increasingly the number of younger girls playing football is just, it seems to be really huge. And there's no surprise, I guess, when you've got role models like the Lionesses showing everybody, and more and more women's football being of interest. It's no real surprise, but it's great that people have then come forward saying, my daughter plays, we've never been to a men's game, this is a great opportunity to go. Because I guess even if your daughter plays, it's kind of, that why would you suddenly want to go and see the men's game? It's just a really nice opportunity to go together as a group. And often you'll get groups of girls coming like that, can I bring my friend who also plays? And then they'll come along, as I say, in these sort of smaller groups. And the interest is definitely sparking a lot from that interest of the women's game. Definitely.
Fantastic. So obviously you go and watch Altrincham, and as you said, you've been to quite a few other grounds now. Tell us about your day yesterday. I mean, I was having a look today. I saw you had some fish and chips and you walked the pier. It seems like you had a great day, apart from the weather, obviously. But Justin and Riley obviously looked after you really well. So yeah, how was your day yesterday, and what did those women experience for the first time coming along?
The best day yesterday. If you've seen my post, it's really, it says it exactly from the heart. And I had such a great time writing it and kind of reliving it all in my mind. The beauty of these things is when you've got sort of a little bit of headroom in knowing that you've got enough people coming. It's always the hardest thing to engage people remotely. And I don't really know anybody in Southend. So luckily I did have some links, and as you say, the club is so good at connecting me with people. So I managed to get 20, which is always the goal. So
that's amazing.
You can arrive knowing that you've got that, and a really lovely group because we connect on WhatsApp beforehand. So there's a nice little hubbub going away on the group chat beforehand about, where you're meeting and all this sort of thing. So I arrived yesterday with knowing all of that. And so I had a bit of free reign for a couple of hours. And so I obviously wanted to get some pictures by the sea and down by the, the arcades and all of that. And I to my shame, I hadn't properly researched what I could possibly do in Southend when I got here. But I came, and the first thing I saw was this invitation to stroll down the pier, and so I did. And it was a wonderful, absolutely wonderful hour, just sort of strolling down. Brilliant sort of wild weather, like you say. It wasn't raining, so it was great. I just managed to avoid that bit. So, but it was blustery and it was windy, and gave my phone to somebody to take a photo, and it nearly blew out of our hand. It was that sort of thing.
Welcome to Southend.
Saying, I'm trying to get your hair, so it's not. I'm like, don't worry about that. You're not going to catch a photo without my hair blowing around. So we got that, and sort of at the Mile Out to Sea marker that was there, and I had the best time walking along there. I just thought it was absolutely wonderful feeling. Got to the far end, got the little train back, so that was great, and then headed up with all my scarves and banners and everything up to the meet point and the fish and chips. And Oldham's treated us brilliantly as well, so we had a great time there. It was the police came along. If you've seen the post, the police police came along to find out, connect with women who've not been before. Why haven't they been? What can we do about it? They were so friendly and welcoming. Everybody was, even the taxi driver. So the guy who drove me over in the taxi, absolutely lovely chap. And he dropped me at when we were about to drop off at Oldham's. And he said, look, I'm going to stop the clock. So I said, I don't know, I'm not from round here. I don't know where the ground is from here. He says, I'll stop my clock. I'll drive you down there. We'll go and have a look. I'll show you where to pop
Fantastic.
through. All of this. It was so friendly and lovely. And yes, I had the greatest day up till that point. And look, it's always a little bit bittersweet because I always want the Danes to win, or at least have something to cheer. So I'm always wanting, it would be terrible if you came somewhere and then it was 5-0 Altrincham to the Danes and they sort of have that terrible experience. But, so you always want the Danes to have something to cheer, but always, obviously, I'm kind of on the, a little bit of my back of my mind, you're kind of wanting Altrincham to get a result.
Well, you saved the penalty, so, you had a little bit of joy, a little bit of...
Got a little bit of footage of that, which I'm really pleased about, because it's always really hard to plan that moment where the Danes stand up and cheer, because, you kind of want to catch that moment where a goal goes in for their team and they stand up and they're cheering, because you've got to think like 2 hours before the game, they don't really care. And then if you get that moment where they all jump up and they clearly do care, then that's a lovely transition to kind of see.
Yeah.
So when there's a penalty, it's obviously like it's a gift. There's going to be that moment I can capture it. And so when it obviously didn't go in, it was like I panned across and the Danes are all kind of like they're sitting down. So I kind of did a little whiz it round to me and I kind of went like this at the camera, like. So, it's all good fun. It's so sort of good-hearted, wholesome, good fun. And that's all I'm trying to do with this. So, it's sort of billed as a campaign, but it's not really a campaign. It's just fun. Come along and have a good time and enjoy it.
Well, sadly, we couldn't change the weather for you or the result. I'm not that sorry, I have to say.
No, I know.
But I'm sorry about the weather. If we don't go up this year, hopefully that'll be the plan, whether it's automatic or playoffs. Maybe see you again next year. Hopefully it'll be in August or when the weather's better. But from a female fan's perspective, obviously, weather aside and results aside, is there anything you would change if you could?
About the experience?
Yeah.
There's often something about look, as I said, the grounds always need more money. And I'm sure if they had more money, they'd put more money into making everything just look a little bit more female friendly. I don't know. I think there's something about that. At Altrincham, we have a fan zone, which is, it's got live music and a little bit of that and food. And I think they had Aperol spritz going, it's that sort of thing. If you cater for women, then you're more likely to get them coming. And so I think, that's fine. But that's
my wife's favourite as well.
When women come, they want to sort of go on a bit of a journey. So in Altrincham, we have a really good setup where you can sit in the main stand for the first part of it. It's not ticketed. You just buy your ticket to come in, an entrance ticket, and then you're there. So you can sit anywhere. But then in the second half, you've got freedom of movement around the stand, so you can go around behind the goal. So that's what I tend to do is, when we go at home, there's kind of this seated experience where it looks a bit more like on the telly. And then in the second half, it's usually we go behind the goal, which we're shooting towards. And then you get that sort of really visceral experience when a goal does go in, or there's like even the ooh-ah moments, nearly moments. You get the energy in the crowd. And I think, women love that. They don't want to be sort of, wrapped in cotton wool when they're there. They just like to have more of a group feel about it. So I suppose, we don't have a her game too. So that's something I'd change, try and make sure that all stands had a her game too, because I think that would automatically change things. I just think that a little bit of something, if not all women would want pie and chips every time, maybe something a little bit more salad based, fruit based might just go that little way to kind of having the healthy side of things that women are after a little bit, from a food point of view. But no, I mean, I think when they come, they want the true experience, like the fan experience that the men have. It's just getting people together in a social. That's really the key to it. Is making it so it's a social experience for women. As it is for men, they go and they see friends there who they don't see anywhere else apart from at the match, and they've seen them for years and years. Yeah, it's really building that up, but it takes time.
Well, I think it was last season, after one of the games, my wife said to Justin, "You need to get better wine glasses, bigger wine glasses." That's all she wanted. Nicer wine glasses. He said, "Yeah, all right." He said, "Just get a bottle." So that was what made her happy. But just how many, since you've been doing this campaign, how many women do you estimate now have started coming along in total?
Do you mean regularly or just as a one-off? How many people?
Yeah, I mean in total roughly, or even one-off.
In total, we're at about 120, so we're a little bit down as to where we are, because we're nearly halfway through the season, so we'd expect to be nearly at about 200 now. But what I'm really pleased about is, these things take time. I always say,
of course,
this isn't a straight line. You're not necessarily going to get 20 for every game, although it has surprised me a little bit, how hard that has been. But it's all living and learning, isn't it? But yeah, getting women to come along has been difficult, but I think it will get easier the more you do, the more stories, the more.
And it'll grow those seeds, won't it, with those that have already started coming.
So I'm really delighted about Southend. It's the first time we've had the full 20s in away game. We've had lots, mainly 20s in Altrincham, but it's just so much easier in Altrincham. I know so many people, and they've so many people have the networks to go to. So about 120 or so at the moment in total, and first-time fans. I'm really pleased about that. But what we're seeing in Altrincham is, because of the way that it's set up, so the way I've done it there is bought 20 season tickets. And I'm hoping in time that these will be sponsored by local businesses, but that's less of a priority for me than getting things going. So what we've got is the 10 home games that we have allocated as our DAMES games, and I've got 20 tickets for that through the season tickets. But then every league game in between those, there are 20 tickets up for grabs, and there's no restriction on those. It's just if women have come and they want to come again with their husband, with their son, with a friend, whatever, they've got an opportunity to come back free of charge using those tickets. And so that's what I think the real key to it is, being able to have that. And I think, you can sow the seed for that anywhere. You just need people to kind of get behind it and want to make it happen. But early days, 8 games in, and One more.
I mean, it is a fantastic campaign, and certainly something we'll be keeping our eye on as well. Anne, thank you so much for coming on. It's been brilliant speaking to you, and just keep up the great work. Absolutely fantastic.
Awesome. Thanks very much, and thanks for wearing your pink shirt. Love it.
No problem.
Thank you.
Yeah, that was Anne Morris. Some great campaigns going on at present. Obviously, her game, promoting gender inclusivity in sport. Match of the Dames, as we just heard. Great campaign, inviting local women along to watch their local football club. Anne's done great work, as we heard, with Altrincham. And Saturday got a lot of local ladies to come and watch Southend for the first time. It's a great opportunity. Obviously, Chloe's work recently, bringing women's game into games like Football Manager. I think the promotion of the women's game and women now attending football is really, really quite alive, Katie, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, definitely. It's way better than it has been in the past. I think it's only going to get better. Even, attendance at our games has increased, and you can see that definitely. And not just women coming to watch, men as well. It's nice to get a whole variety of people. Just because they love football, doesn't really matter who it is or who's playing, what age group or anything. But I think it's only positive that you get more people into the football grounds, get more people in Roots Hall, fill up the seats, and it can only benefit everyone, I think.
Yeah, so obviously looking forward to the next ladies' game, couple of weeks, and what a great project that Anne's got going. So hopefully we'll see some more new fans down at Southend. That'll be absolutely brilliant. Right, Academy Watch. Last week, FA Cup second round, away to Newmarket. Charlie, guess the score for us.
Oh, it's not a 3-0, was it?
Yeah,
It's
Danny, his
become a
favourite
habit,
score.
isn't it? And
Favourite score.
what a great habit to have, a 3-0 away victory. It's what, 3 on the bounce for them now away, isn't it?
I think
in the
that's
cup,
4
so
now.
4 is it? I mean, I actually
in
put,
the FA
I
Cup,
think a 2-0, a 2-0. I put something out on X. I went, surely not another 3 incoming, sort of tongue in cheek. And sure enough, there was the third. I should have put some money on it. But yeah, absolute brilliant result for them. Absolutely fantastic, and rewarded with a home tie now, first time in the competition.
Yeah, they can't wait for that.
And that'll be really good, because I think, at Roots Hall, and I think it'll be an evening game, so it'll be under the lights, and hopefully we'll get a good crowd in for it as well. Because I think there's a fair few I think have followed the away games, so it'll be good to get some more bums on seats at Roots Hall and really support the boys, because what they've done this season, the club, is in the league as well. Danny, he's got a real good team there, and
he's
some
done amazing work.
quality. I mean, you look at the goals that were scored again. Some of the build-up play and the goals, they're really, really exciting lads to watch.
Yeah, goals for Matthew Blake, Mitch Ward and Brandon Dadson. Obviously, I think Mitch Ward is on a duel with Basildon at the moment. Brandon is always a goal in him. That was a great goal. I think Brandon started to move, actually. Nick hasn't scored for a few, but he gives you so much up front, Nick Zlatev. His hold-up play is just immense. And again, he was involved in that third goal. So, yeah, as you say, got a home draw in the next round, hopefully 3-0 at Roots. So I saw Ronnie Jerusalem Saturday on the way to our game, and he was like, yeah, Roots Hall. So I know they're so excited about that. Yeah, not sure when it is. I think potential date is 18th for December. I think we've got to wait, as you said, for their opponents. I think they played this Wednesday, potentially, Charlie, either Swindon Town or Dorking.
Yeah, I think it's at Swindon. So I think it's Swindon v Dorking Wednesday evening. So, I think watch this space for the date to be confirmed. But as I say, I think you're right around the 18th-ish of December, but obviously we'll confirm that.
Yeah. Katie, you'll be able to get down for that one?
Yeah, if work allows for it, yeah, definitely
Thursday
think it'll
night.
be good to get down there and watch them. I think they've definitely proved themselves in this cup run. So the more people you can get to back them, it's only going to get them better, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely brilliant run they're having. So they've got 2 league games coming up this week, according to the fixtures. Boreham, I think, on Wednesday, and Maidenhead on Friday. So Danny will obviously be rotating a little bit there if that is the case. It's probably because he keeps winning the cup. They've got all these league games to catch up.
Yeah.
And then,
it's not a bad problem, is it?
No, exactly. And the under-17s, they're way to Enfield on Friday. So that will be a tough game, having watched the under-19s from Enfield the other week. But yeah, well done, guys. Absolutely brilliant result. And we're all absolutely buzzing for you. Can't wait to see you play your... start your trade at Roots Hall. I wonder how many will actually go on to play in the first team on that pitch. So, if you get the opportunity, get down. It's going to be brilliant. Be great to get a good, a good turnout, wouldn't it? It really would. Right, up next, Saturday, away to Forest Green. Huge test. They played Wildston Saturday, 1-1. Finn, Robbie Savage versus Kev Mayer. It's going to be an interesting one, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, definitely. I think I'm always positive, particularly when we go into big games like this. I think, particularly against the big sides, I feel like, just for me, it feels like we tend to do quite well. And I think, however, I'm going to say I do think it's going to be a tough game. And I say that not necessarily anything to do with Forest Green. Obviously, they are a top side and really good side, but more so about the availability of our defence.
Yeah, selection problems for Kev. No Harry Taylor. Obviously, got yellow card.
Harry Taylor is suspended. I think it is.
Goodlip had a calf injury Saturday, so I don't know if he'll be back.
Good. And then I think Gus is on his 5th yellow as well. I could be
Yeah, I
wrong.
don't think he didn't get booked
No, I don't
Saturday,
think he got it. I think
thankfully.
that's why he got taken off, didn't he? Yeah.
Should have done for
Right.
that penalty.
Yeah,
But no, thankfully he didn't, because we would have been
okay.
a lot of problems.
Yeah. So it's it's a little bit worrying about the defence, and I'm not too sure what's going to happen there. Maybe don't know if he'll switch to a 4-back. I can't really see Kev doing that, but maybe he has to for this game. But yeah, so I'm a little bit worried about our defence, but I do feel positive going into the game. I think Forest Green are kind of a team that they tend to just have a random, really bad performance in them. And I feel like, if you catch them on the right day, I feel like you can definitely beat them. And I think if we go out there and kind of dominate play like we did against Altrincham, then I think it could be a good day for us.
So Charlie, who could you see slotting in at the back? I mean, like I said, Taylor's definitely out. We know that.
Yeah.
If hopefully Goody will be back, but if he's not, it's obviously Ralph Gubbins are going to be starting. But who do you put on that right side? Do you bring in someone like Cav, move Morts in the middle, or what's your thinking?
Well, I was chatting at the weekend about it, and I mean, I'm not as concerned maybe as Finn is. I mean, I think Taylor's going to be a massive, massive miss because what he brings to the team.
He's so
I
class.
think for me, is a standout player, and I think he goes below the radar in a lot of games. I think the problem with it's not a problem. I think where he is just so consistent, we know what we get out of him game by game by game. That it's not very often he has a bad game, so he sort of just blends into the background and does his game so well. Doesn't sort of bring any attention to himself. And I think having it, you see his track. I mean, it's very rare anybody will beat him in a duel, get past him. His timing for his tackles is exceptional. So yeah, he's going to be a massive miss, against the Forest Green side that will pose some threats. But saying that, we've got defenders there that are still more than capable. And I think also we don't know the severity of Goodlift's sort of injury, if it's just a sort of a slight sort of knock he's got and, just resting him. Potentially, he could then just come in, into the back three alongside Gubbins and Ralph there. But, I mean, I think Kev has done it a couple of times. It's not his favoured, formation, the 4-4-2, but potentially, he could come back to, a 4-4-2, bringing in, Gubbins, Ralph, and then Gus and Boys, and then, shoring up the midfield, putting one in there to.
Well, we've also got Adam Crowther, who seems to be really frozen out completely.
Yeah.
I wonder if he might make the bench.
Yeah, I mean, you might see him on the bench. I would be amazed if he was to start, considering that he's not really been included throughout this season. He's very rare that he's been in, even on the squad. And there's obviously a lot of talk that he's potentially going out on loan. Obviously, Wind we've got, who's out on loan. I think there is a clause to call him back if need be. But I suspect that we've probably got enough bodies in the building to cover that at the moment. But yeah, whether you see Crowther come in on the bench just to give us that option if need be. But yeah, I mean, thankfully it's only for the one game, isn't it? But I would imagine if Goodlift is fit, he would sort of slot as a direct sort of replacement.
Well, you say it might be one game, but then we don't know about the game after if we're going to lose another one, because we've got a few, haven't we?
Then you've got, is it Gus, Miley?
Yeah, Gus, Miley.
Ralph, I think, as well, I believe, as well. So we kind of, you don't want them all going at the same time.
It's going to be a bit the crucial thing, isn't it? Weeks, which for sure.
I think that's what led to Mayer's substitutions at the weekend. I think as the game got on a bit, we're fortunate we was in a position where we could make those changes and keep them from getting a silly yellow card or anything like that.
Yeah, going back to Harry Taylor, I know it's only sort of near the end of November now. Quite a long way the season to go. But for me, he's player of the season already. He's had an immense season. Finn, what would you say to that? Or are you going to go Gubbins?
No, did you say Harry Taylor? Sorry, I cut out.
I mean, I think he's been absolutely superb.
Yeah.
I mean, he always has been. He always, like as Charlie said, you get a 7 or 8 out of him every single game. You rarely see him having a bad game. But for me, he's just been amazing.
Yeah, the thing is with him, he's so consistent, as you said. He's not just quality, which obviously is, but then he's just so consistent. You get quality players at clubs, but you don't often get a player who does it every single game. You know, I can't really think of a game that he's had for us that hasn't been, that's been below a 7 really out of 10 if you were to rate them. And yeah, he's absolutely quality. I think in a kind of like wider football perspective, he's kind of probably one of the most underrated players, I think, at the moment, particularly in the National League. And to be honest, no offense to him, but I'm kind of happy with it staying that way from a selfish fan point of view, because I don't really want because I think if people really knew how good he was, I think there'd be so many clubs snooping around.
Well, hopefully we won't find out on Saturday.
Yeah, exactly.
Too much.
Yeah, so it's I mean, I couldn't speak highly enough of Taylor, and as much as I love Gubbins, I will give him it. He is he's very much on track to player of the season, I think.
But with Taylor as well, the worry is obviously at the end of this season, I think he's out of contract, and my concern and real worry is that obviously if we don't get out of this league this season, he's capable of playing at a much higher level
100%.
than this. And the worry is, as Finn says, for us fans, you want him just to go under the radar, just keep doing what he's doing, don't show too much. But there's going to be people that are paying attention to him and watching. And he's been with us a couple of years now. And I think if we don't get out this season, I think there's a couple of players that we could, sort of worry on really as to, other clubs, sniffing around and, if the price is right.
I think there's quite a few players, as you said. I think Gus is potentially out of contract, because I remember when Koscielny came in, they gave everyone 2-year contracts.
It's going to be a busy year negotiating, isn't it?
Now we're kind of at the end of those 2 years. Well, at the end of the season. So yeah, you're right to bring that up, Charlie, because it's definitely worrying. I think there's quite a lot of players, to be honest.
Yeah.
Well, one player that we're unlikely to see playing Saturday is actually for Forest Green, a guy called Harry Cardwell. He's not been in a squad the last 8 games. His contract is up. You talk about contracts. His contract is up in June. He's 29. I mean, his last season with us was absolutely fantastic. But yeah, he looks like he's completely frozen out. I think he wants to go on loan, but they're not to whatever the terms are, either way. He's just sitting doing nothing at the moment, sitting out his contract, which is such a shame to see because he was such a quality player, certainly for us. But yeah, sad situation.
Yeah, I mean, for me, this is going to be a little bit controversial maybe, but you hear sort of on social media, do we want Cardwell back? Do we, is this who we need? Me personally, I don't. And the reason I say that, and you touched on it, Phil, that you said the last season with us, he done very well. But other than that season, he's had a lot of injuries. The season when we had him, I think he had a few knocks. He was in and out of the team. And then obviously he's gone to Forest Green. And for whatever reason, things haven't really worked out for him. He's still obviously got some injury issues and stuff. And for me, don't get me wrong, that his presence and when he's on his game, he's a brilliant player. But
handful.
For me, I would be questioning the fitness of him and the injuries that he's sort of picking up of late.
Yeah, I'm quite thankful that he's not been playing because obviously, as you say, with Harry Taylor out, he's the sort of player who would take advantage of that. But yeah, I can't see him being involved again. But either way, it's going to be a very tough game. They're going really well in the league. Let's get some predictions. I'm not sure about this one. Let's start with you, Finn.
Oh, that's horrible. For this game,
it's not an easy one.
That is horrible. No, it's a really difficult one to predict. I've got 2-2 draw in my head, but I don't know if that's just because we drew 2 of them constantly last season. But I'm going to go positive, and I'm going to go for a 2-1 win. But I think it'll be really scrappy, and I don't think it'll be easy. But it could be a 2-2. Oh no, I'm going to go with a 2-1 win.
You're going 2-1. Katie, what are you going to go for?
I don't know. It's a tricky one, isn't it? Because the stats are quite even, like goals for and goals against. They're pretty similar. Possibly, quite close game, like Finn said. Maybe 1-1, and then you never know. Maybe a last-minute winner.
Josh Walker off the bench. Yeah, we'll take that.
Substitute off the bench, last-minute winner, I reckon. Yeah, I might stick with him with that 2-1.
Great, I'd love that. Charlie?
Yeah, I mean, I think the last couple of games we played them have been sort of draws, haven't they? And obviously we had that, great result last season in the playoffs against them, that penalty shootout to get us through to Wembley. I mean, I was just looking at some of their recent matches, and I think they haven't kept a clean sheet since sort of beginning of October, middle of October. So they're a team that do concede goals, and defensively, we don't let too many in. So it's just whether or not on our day we can be clinical, which if we play anything like we did Saturday, making the most of those opportunities, I don't think it'll be too much of a problem. So I'm actually feeling a little bit more confident. I'm going to go with a 2-0 win.
Ooh. Okay, well, I'm going to sit on the fence a bit, and I'm going to go for a 1-1 draw. I'd take a 1-1 draw. I think without Harry Taylor, and we don't know how good he is, if he is playing. But yeah, anything other than that, listen, I'll go with Katie's 2-1 last minute. Josh Walker, I'll be very, very happy with that indeed. Yeah. But yeah, 1-1 wouldn't be the worst result in the world, would it? Yeah, let's see. Hopefully we'll be sitting here next Monday saying 3 points again. We will see. So coming up next week, obviously reaction from that game, Forest Green. We've got teammates with Andrew Dallas. And finally, let's just say thanks to our co-host tonight, Finn, Charlie and Katie. And also I sponsor Surgical Holdings. Don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. And we will see you soon.